Heads up, boys.
I'm ready when you are. All you got to do is call it to order, and I'll head.
Good evening and welcome everyone. I will call the meeting to order this the 19th of October 2015. Commissioner McIntyre will offer our invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day. We thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We ask that you be with our military wherever they may be serving, that they keep us safe. We ask that you be with this board as we make decisions for our county, that we may make decisions that's pleasing to you and in the benefit of our county citizens. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Commissioners, is there any adjustments or amendments to the agenda?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Our first item this evening is the presentation of the Advanced Certification Award to Sheriff George Burris, and I believe our presenter is Congressman Richard Hudson. Welcome, Congressman. And Representative Burr.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioners, for having us tonight. Sheriff asked that I start us out with, and couldn't miss the opportunity when he informed me that he was receiving this certification tonight. So I wanted to come and just again publicly thank him for all of his hard work, his dedication, his commitment to the taxpayers of Stanley County, to especially to the deputies which he serves in this community. He has done an outstanding job, I think, over the past 11 months as he works to update and improve the expectations that the people of Stanley County have for its sheriff's office, and he has certainly done that. And I've been honored to work with him in his efforts to secure grants, to do what he can to secure vests and the things that he needs for his deputies to make sure that they are able to serve the public, but to do it in a manner that's for their safety and for the safety of those that they serve. So I just commend him for all that he's done, and proud to stand here tonight and be a part of this honor that he's receiving. And this time I'd like to introduce our congressman, who, if you haven't heard, is a new father, and I'd like to congratulate him for that as well. And proud of all he's doing for us in Washington. So at this time, if our congressman, Richard Hudson, will come forward, we'll let him speak.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you to the commissioners for giving us this opportunity, and it's great to be with you, Madam Chairman. I was thinking about the drive over. I think you were my first friend in the county. I've known you a long time, and I appreciate all the work each one of you do. You're very dedicated to the citizens of this community, and I'm honored to be here to take part in recognizing our sheriff, who, again, as Justin said, is an exemplary public servant. He's someone who I've been proud to watch him grow in his role very quickly. He's a man of integrity, which is the most important thing to me, and he's doing a tremendous job bringing professionalism to that department, and the feedback I get from people in the street and from the deputies is all very positive, and so I'm proud to call him a friend and be here to support him tonight, and I do have, if you'll indulge me, a certification to present to him. This is it's the Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate, which is the highest award that a North Carolina law enforcement officer can receive, given by the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, the Education and Training Standards Commission. And I'll just read the very brief top part here. It says, "To whom the presence may come, greetings. By virtue of the authority vested in the laws of the state and in the recognition of the attainment of training and educational objectives commensurate with the role of a professional law enforcement officer, and of personal devotion and service to the people of North Carolina, the Attorney General and the Chairman and members of the North Carolina Sheriff's Education and Training Standards Commission, through the authority vested in them by the laws of the state, do hereby award to George Travis Burris this advanced law enforcement certificate. And this time, if the sheriff would come forward, I'd be proud to present this to you. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Well done. One of those. Thank you.
Commissioners, thank y'all for all that you do for our county. Thank you for allowing me this time to have some great friends come by and say a few very kind words for me that mean a lot. And thank y'all for all that y'all do for our county and our citizens. It truly means a lot. And I always remember we're on the same team moving forward for the great citizens of Stanley County. I'll be praying for y'all and y'all pray for me. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And to Congressman Hudson, I just want to say I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that Richard Lane Hudson III would have arrived on my birthday, but he decided to take his time. But congratulations to you and to Renee. Thank you. Commissioners, if you will allow me, we have another special guest who've come in, our Senator Tom McInnes. Would you like to come forth and just offer greetings to us?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson and members of the board. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I thank you for your willingness to serve. As we all know, some days it's kind of like flying an airplane in long periods of very great boredom surrounded by moments of sheer terror. And I appreciate everybody's willingness to serve. I enjoy working with you. You've got a fabulous county manager and staff, and been just a great opportunity to work with them, and appreciate you speaking with me tonight, and echo George doing a fabulous job. We hear about him in Raleigh there, and he's doing a fabulous job. And Stanley County's on the map in Raleigh, I can tell you. Justin and I are making sure of that. So appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight.
Thanks, Senator.
Thank you for dropping in. Our first item on the agenda, our second item, our next item, is Monarch, and it requires a public hearing. Our presenter is Lori Weaver, Director of Grants and Foundation Relationships for Monarch. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you all for letting me be here this evening. And let me congratulate Sheriff Burris as well. He was instrumental in helping us do some training for his deputies earlier this year in mental health first aid. And that was an important part of what we did as part of a grant that we received earlier in the year. So I'm grateful to him for that cooperation and that support of that program in January when we did that training for him. My job here today is just to bring forth, we needed to hold a public hearing attached to Monarch's grant, as we have done in years past, for a federal Department of Transportation grant to support transportation for the elderly and disabled in our community, and we'll be putting forth that application in the next couple of weeks. I needed to hold a public hearing attached to that. We will use that money to support the transportation needs for program participants at our Stanley Industrial Systems program, day program here in Stanley County. We've got a percentage of those folks who don't have transportation opportunities afforded to them, and that's what this grant will support. So that's what we're here for.
Do any commissioners have any questions? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in favor of the issue? Any opposed? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have to do anything to have public hearing, do we?
That's right. No
Madam Chair,
action.
could we call a 5-minute recess to let some folks get some photographs and stuff with the sheriff?
Whatever's the pleasure of the board.
We've got some folks standing up in the back. Just give them a few minutes to.
5-minute
Do their thing.
recess, please.
Thank you.
For Poor Becky.
Take care, sir. See you, brother.
The next item on our agenda is our senior services. Miss Becky Weemhoff, Director. She is bringing to us an application for the 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Grant for fiscal years 2016 and 17.
Okay.
Ms.
Good
Weemhoff.
evening. The Senior Services Department is again this year applying for a 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities.
Excuse me just a minute.
Okay.
Would our audience please, we are back in business and we're trying to hear our director. Go ahead.
Okay. The Senior Services Department is applying again this year for a 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities grant for FY 16-17. This grant does require a public hearing, which is another reason I'm here tonight. This is the second year that we've applied for this grant. I can tell you that this year that the seniors have enjoyed having more opportunities to be transported not only to the nutrition site, but we're able to help more people who have to go to dialysis, as well as more trips to the grocery store. So we have worked very closely with SCUSA. The grant we're asking for is for a total of $60,000, which is what it is this year. The grant amount is $48,000, and it does require a 10% match of $12,000, but we're using our Home and Community Care Block Grant money as the match, so therefore there's no county money involved.
Does anyone have any questions? I'd just like to say that this is one of the programs that has a tremendous value, and there's no way to measure what it means to the citizens that it provides the services for. I'll declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for the Disabilities Grant for fiscal year 2016-17? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, let the record reflect said. We need to request approval of the resolution.
You did, yes.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the resolution.
Second, Madam Chair.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. And I believe you're up again.
I am. Thank you very much for that vote. Our advisory board has 5 members whose 3-year term is expiring at the end of October. 3 of these board members have indicated that they have a desire to continue serving on the board for another 3 years. They are Vanessa Chambers of New London, Robin Lentz of New London, and Wayne Sasser of Albemarle. Ernest H. Morton, or Bud Morton, has indicated he does not wish to serve another 3-year term. Kent Trull, an attorney who is practicing in Albemarle, has indicated that he's willing to serve on the board. The 5th board member's name will be submitted to you later for your approval, probably at the next meeting. We actually have a name already, but I got it too late to go on the agenda. So I respectfully request that the 3 advisory board members who have wished to continue their term, Vanessa Chambers, Robin Lentz, and Wayne Sasser, be reappointed to the advisory board for a 3-year term ending 10/30/18, and also request that attorney Kent Trull be appointed to the board for a 3-year term ending 10/30/18.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the request for the advisory board.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second, I believe, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, Central Iowa Council of Governments, resolution of support for the 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Grant for fiscal year 2016-17, and our presenter is County Manager Andy Lucas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Central Illinois Council of Governments is seeking some of the similar funds as Monarch and our own Senior Services Department. All three agencies have been funded in the past. They use these funds for some coordination among the region to do some planning around joint trips and coordinating resources among the different transportation groups in the several counties that are in the Central Illinois Council of Government region. They also use this funding to assist with the Volunteer Transportation Services Program. That hasn't necessarily taken off here in Stanley County, but Lincoln County volunteers use it fairly extensively. There is an actual meeting, I think, coming up here at our Senior Services Department around the volunteer transportation system, where folks can volunteer. They are reimbursed some amount of money for taking folks on trips, and so that's what they will be doing with this funding. And they're seeking a resolution. They'll hold their public hearing at their monthly meeting, since they're a quasi-governmental agency. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You had the resolution in your packet. Is there any question? Is there a motion? We have a motion. Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Lawhon. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Our next item is a comment letter, Division 10, to the North Carolina Department of Transportation. And presenter again is County Manager Andy Lucas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. By now you've seen some email correspondence that I've passed along to you from our RPO Director, Dana Stujanki, that has the proposed statewide strategic transportation improvement plan projects that the division has put forth for consideration by the State Board of Transportation. And I've included that information in your packet, as well as those emails. The majority of those projects, overwhelming majority, are in Mecklenburg County, and obviously that's based on the way that formula is currently written and set by statute, where congestion it favors areas, suburban and urban areas, where congestion's an issue. And so, but I think it's important that, I know our Rural Transportation Planning Organization, RPO, is sending the letter. I think it's important that we as a county be on record that we have some concerns about that. I don't think it's going to change because their decision, because it's so dominated by data and they have little discretion around that. But I think where it could have an impact is at the regional and division level, because the projects that don't get funded at the statewide level are eligible for regional or division level funding, although the pot of money is not as big. I think there's, as long as we're on record, I think hopefully that'll raise attention to the fact that we're watching and seeing that's happening, and maybe that'll have some impact on decisions that are made at the regional and division level. So I proposed a letter. Certainly I'm open to any critiques or changes that you may want to make to that letter, but I wanted you all to have something to react to. And that letter would be sent to the division engineer just as a follow-up, and again, similar to what the Rocky River Planning Organization is doing as well. So be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any question?
Just a comment for our county manager and also you, Ms. Chair. I appreciate the effort to at least let them know that we're aware that we're being left out. And unless we squeak, we'll never get any grease. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawhon. I thought the letter certainly exhibits diplomacy, and I'm anxiously awaiting a response, I can tell you. Okay, do we have a motion to consider, approve, and authorize? We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Burleson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Thank you. Our next item is a resolution to support a proposed U.S. constitutional amendment defining marriage as the union of one man and one woman, and our presenter is Commissioner Joseph Burleson.
Madam Chair, thank you. Fellow board members, you have in your packet a copy of the resolution, I would like to make a motion that we pass this resolution as presented. It is a resolution supporting the proposal of a United States constitutional amendment defining marriage as the union of one man and one woman. Whereas we, the members of the Stanley County Board of Commissioners, have all been duly elected by the citizens of this county. Whereas in 2012, the citizens of the state of North Carolina voted to amend our state's constitution to declare the only domestic legal union that shall be valid or recognized in this state is the marriage between one man and one woman. Whereas statewide, 61% of the voters voted for and in favor of this constitutional amendment defining marriage as one man and one woman. Whereas, including the great state of North Carolina, 31 states passed to amend their respective states' constitution banning same-sex marriages. Many of these states' amendments also ban civil unions. Whereas in June 2015, the United States Supreme Court invalidated these states' constitutional amendments. Whereas we believe that marriage can only be defined as the union of one man and one woman, and that this must be upheld as the national standard. Whereas the only means of achieving this is to amend the United States Constitution. Whereas one of the two methods of amending the United States Constitution is for 2/3 of both U.S. houses, that is the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, approve the proposal of an amendment and send it to the states for a vote. Therefore, be it resolved that the Stanley County Board of Commissioners calls on all federal delegates to propose and support an amendment to the United States Constitution defining marriage as the union of one man and one woman, and therefore banning same-sex marriages. And be it further resolved that this resolution without delay be submitted to U.S. Senators Burr and Tillis and U.S. Representative Hudson. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to add an amendment to the resolution. At the very end, where it says, "And it be further resolved that this resolution without delay be submitted to U.S. Senators Burr and Tillis and Representative Hudson," I'd like to add at the bottom, if y'all would go with it, "and all same-sex and all married same-sex couples that received marriage licenses in Stanley County since October of 2014. In other words, I think we should send the resolution to the same-sex couples that got married in Stanley County to make them aware of the vote that's going to be taken tonight.
You're asking Commissioner Burleson?
No, I'm just asking to
Okay.
amend it. I'm asking the commission if we want to add that to the.
Any comments?
Do we know how many couples that might be?
At least 6.
Well, I think they'll know who voted for it and against it if they, listen. So I don't know why we have to amend the resolution and send it to them.
Kind of like a public notice that we're. And someone predict that someone would say they're going to read it in the newspaper.
Call for the question.
Wait, I wasn't done with my discussion. I'm sorry, that was just all on the amendment. I'd like to know, I have a question for Commissioner Burleson. What benefit in passing this? How does this benefit Stanley County by passing this?
I think this goes back to the vote that was held in 2012, where 81% of the citizens of Stanley County voted for this amendment.
That's the state. That's the state.
The state was 61, Stanley County was 81.
No, my question is, how does that benefit Stanley County?
The citizens of Stanley County elected me to this role, and I'm going to do everything I can to fight for what those citizens want and my own moral reasons.
But still, that doesn't answer the question. How does this benefit Stanley County? What brought this to the table This is the second issue we've had in the last three meetings that really is Congress's duty that we're getting involved in. How does this benefit one person in Stanley County if this passes?
Commissioner Shudo, if you don't like the resolution, vote against it.
And I would ask the question, how does it hurt anybody in Stanley County?
Well, what it does, in October 2014, same-sex couples were allowed to be married in the state of North Carolina. 6 couples in Stanley County chose to go that route that first week. One couple, the first couple, a couple ladies, they've been together for, I think, now 28 years. That's longer than Commissioner Burleson's, I think, has been on this earth or close to it. And, you know, this is different because now you're taking away, you would be taking away a marriage if this goes all the way through, and you're supporting something that would take away people's duly right now to be married. So you're taking away something that citizens already have in Stanley County. And also, what I'm worried about too is also economic development and how this portrays Stanley County. You know, this is the year 2015. There are same-sex couples. There are many of those are business owners. Many business owners have children who are homosexual. And what's Paul Stratus to say to that business that's looking to relocate to Stanley County that has 50 employees and the guy's daughter is like gay, and we're showing that we're just not tolerant to the 21st century.
So you're saying, you're arguing the point that we should forego our moral and Christian stance on something in order to support earning an extra buck or two?
What I'm saying is, who are we to judge morality? In other words, I don't know where you lay your bed at night, whose bed you lay in at nighttime. You're 20-some years old and single. Maybe you're still holding off till you get married. That's not my business. You know, there's a lot of things in the Bible, if you go by the Bible, that we do that are sins. And somehow you're just picking on this one, and that ship has sailed with the with the Supreme Court ruling the banning of same-sex marriages is unconstitutional. So if you want to go that morality play, we'll go down that whole road for morality.
Gentlemen, are we ready to vote? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no.
No.
The motion passes 6-1. Our last item is the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Eford. And you too, Commissioner Dennis. Without objection, then, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Thank you. Commissioner comments, and I'll begin with Commissioner Burleson.
No comment.
Excuse me. Any public comments? We've given the public a lot of opportunities tonight, but we'll give you one more. Yes. I'm sorry, I don't have a sheet. I wasn't aware. I'm sorry. I don't ignore councilmen normally.
My name's Harry Fletcher. I'm from the west end of the county. And first of all, I'd like to commend and compliment the county employees and particularly the senior services staff for the outstanding job they do in providing services for the seniors at this end of the county. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware, but almost 2 years ago, we opened a West Stanley Senior Center in Locust, in Town Center. Prior to that, we worked on it, a group of us, for years, literally years, to make it happen. We formed a 501c3 corporation, and after I got that corporation approved as a 501c3, we had 2 local businessmen step up to make it possible for us to open the doors. We also received support from a couple of churches in our local community and civic organizations like the Rotary and the Lions Club. That's, like I said, almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in January. The largesse and the generosity of the businessmen that have made this possible is pretty much running out. We can't depend on them forever to continue to fund the senior services for West Stanley. I think we've proven the need for it by opening the doors, by having the people come in and participate, providing the services we do. It's 100% volunteers. We have no paid staff, period, none. And I'm glad to hear commissioners say that sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm squeaking. We need help. We, meaning the people at West Stanley, which is not just Locust, it's Oakboro, it's Ridgefield, it's Ridgecrest, or Ridgecrest, not Ridgefield. Red Cross are participating and using the facility. But we feel it's time for the county to step up and provide not the same services you do in Albemarle. That's unrealistic. We realize that. But if you guys would see, take it under advisement to incorporate that facility into the senior services for the county, then you would be providing a great service to the seniors on that end of the county. And I'll be happy to discuss this with anybody at any time. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is N. Patel. I have business in Stanley County, convenience store with gas station on the next, close to the Lake Tillery. And I'm running since 2005, and I'm asking for the alcohol permit. Because every day 10, 25 people, come inside and go out. And every time, right now, we are slow business, and I'm surviving, If not, I have to close. Please help me.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a question for the ABC board.
Madam Chair, I think he's asking for a referendum.
A referendum?
Well, there's two ways you could do it. You could have a county-wide referendum, or the voters, a certain majority of the voters in that think of how this is not a district, but it's a township, as it's defined. Whatever township that is, you'd have a certain number of those folks would have to sign a petition, and if the right number signs that petition percentage-wise, then the board wouldn't have to make that decision. That, as a result of that number being met, then there would be a referendum in that specific township for there to be, I guess in this case, beer and unfortified wine. I don't think he's asking for spirits, but would be beer and unfortified wine. So there's really two routes you could go. You could have get a petition up of the folks that live in that township and are registered to vote, and they would have to meet certain percentage-wise of the voters. Or the county, the Board of County Commissioners could make the decision you're going to want a county-wide referendum, which then at that point, if it passed, then folks could not just here, but we've had requests from Aquadale before and other places. That would open it up to any place in Stanley County to have beer and unfortified wine. So those are a couple different avenues that the board has.
Okay.
And most of all, we in our county, more than 80% town all wait, and our only county is dry. The people, our business go on other side the county,
Right. Basically, what he's saying is we're outside of the limits for any of the cities to actually annex us. So we're not able to sell alcohol at all, and most of that business is going to Montgomery County, right across the bridge. So it would benefit the county as well as far as, tax dollars.
Where exactly are y'all at again?
We're on Highway 24, 27, 73 right in front of Indian Mound Road, right where that is.
Okay.
Green Top,
yeah,
correct.
exactly.
He's coming all the time, our store. He's knows.
Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody know what township?
I don't know.
Our address is Albemarle.
Address is Albemarle, but
Yeah, we have like 10 or 11 townships, or even more than that in the county, and I'm not specific which one it is. Board of Elections will do it, but it'll be a little cumbersome because the voting precincts aren't aligned to a township, and so they'll have to do some finessing to figure out and place folks in that township, but it can be done.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and we'll certainly have staff look at this and address it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, as a recommended strategy, I think what we can do, myself and the county attorney can bring back this information to you next meeting. If Mr. Mattel would like to be here to hear that, or we can just follow up with him via, email or letter correspondence, and that way you all will know specifically how this could work, and you all can take the bull by the horns and decide to do a countywide referendum, or you can put the onus back on the voters of that township to see if there's enough from a petition perspective. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This will be an interesting debate because a few minutes ago, for morality reasons, we passed a resolution to ban same-sex marriages, and now we're going to have, to a lot of the people around here, a morality issue also on this topic. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay. Commissioner Burleson, comments, please.
I would just say to Mr. Fletcher, I understand where you're coming from. I sat in many meetings with Mr. Wilson Barbie at our office when we provided the office for them to start meeting, and commend that group and Gail and everyone that has been involved since Wilson's passing to carry that through and to get something going. So we will certainly look into that and see what we can do.
Commissioner McIntyre.
No comment.
Commissioner Eford.
Madam Chair, a couple things. Mr. Fletcher, I appreciate you coming out. I know what hard work you guys did. Like Joseph said, that thing went from a 1 day, a couple hours a day, to a 2 day, to now it's 5 days. And I think you're almost all day long, or some extended hours. So hopefully we can do something to help you out there. Couple things with being the fire district, I just wanted to mention with the weather changing, it's a little cooler this morning. The biggest cause of house fires this time of year is heating and cooling systems, or heating systems. You don't have to worry about cooling, but heating systems that are not checked out, and people start firing fireplaces. So please, if you know someone, elderly person that might need that done, please get that done, because that's a big cause this time of year. So that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Shudo.
Just want to say one more time, just want to express my disappointment with the board for supporting the resolution to ban same-sex marriages. A year ago, 6 same-sex couples got married in Stanley County, and in that time, the sun has risen in the east and set in the west, and there's been no real impact on Stanley County. All this is going to be is a negative. Anyway, just want to make a couple other comments that I'll see both y'all afterwards, so I just want to get y'all's contact information about the senior center and about the permit. I'd like to get y'all's information. And I just want to put in a record that Blake Cole was here earlier, the kid in the hoodie. He was, for his senior class project, he was shadowing me for 15 hours, and this was his 15th hour. And then one more comment is on the schools. That gonna be some tough decisions made by the school board. Last week they had 2 special meetings. One was regards to facilities, and one was in regard to transportation. And the transportation, there's no real impact with changes that would be made, maybe a few minutes here and there overall. I know some people, depending on what was closed, may have a longer drive, but overall, the average drive for kids is nothing real bad. And, if the school board chooses the route of keeping all the schools open, we as a board, we're tied in with the school board. We need to commit to them money to fix those facilities. The facilities cost to upgrade them is anywhere between probably $16 to $23 million, depending on if they do the additions for West Stanley and North Stanley. But we have to fix our school system, not only with efficiency, but we also have to get those buildings up to par.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyon.
Just a brief update on Albemarle Downtown Development Corporation. I'm the commissioner that's appointed to the board to attend those meetings, and I do attend the meetings. I think probably most of the commissioners on this board are aware that our director resigned. We have an interim director, Dana McDowell, who is jumping on board and doing a good job. We've also are in process of adding 4 new board members to the ADDC. Jim Center, who lives in Albemarle, I think they're on PD Avenue, is an attorney in downtown Albemarle. He's going on the board. Kelly Louder, who I believe was a marketing director at one time at Home Savings Bank, is going on the board. Bill Josie, who is the chief financial officer for the school system, and just recently purchased a home in downtown Albemarle, which is across from the old Central School. And we also have Dr. Colleen Keith, who is the new president of Pfeiffer University, that will be appointed to the ADDC board. Thank you.
Commissioner Dennis.
Tell Commissioner Easter that I've had my furnace checked out. I thought he was talking about me. I have no comment.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be Monday, November the 2nd at 7 o'clock. Have a good week, everyone.
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. We're adjourned.